who's got an accurate time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yep.
I've got agendas for the 2 meetings we had, minutes for the 2 meetings we had last month. If you wanna take one, we can pass them around. And I've got the agenda for this meeting also, so take one and pass it on. Nick was gonna be here from Gale for an update, but I haven't seen him yet, so he probably got
I'm
something
not
to
gonna
grab
grab one for myself.
Huh?
Just mumbling.
Okay. Welcome to the club, I do that all the time.
Whoops. Too much paperwork. The other one. This is good tonight.
Okay. I'm gonna just go down some of the old business and stuff, and then we can go back to the minutes if you wanna look at them for the both meetings that we had. Alarm Central, I have not had any time to get a hold of him yet, just haven't had the time. The beacon lights, the third one's out up by Wilson now, so I haven't hiked that one yet. I gotta take a look at it and see if it's wires down, that would be Templeton, I believe. So, and then the one over on Cottage Lane is not on, but it's got power to the box. So I don't know what's going on. It would be Coble, I think it is, down in Rhode Island or the Cape, somewhere down that way, so I'd have to contact there. So I'm probably gonna get a hold of them, see if we can get an estimate on what we need. Everybody has met. Isabel?
I have some stuff to talk about if you want me to.
No, go ahead.
Talk about
We
that?
can do that if you want.
Because Gail's not here yet.
Right.
Okay, my stuff. I started cutting down the trees at the end of the taxiway to provide a line of sight so that we can see aircraft on short final. And then it started snowing, so I'll continue when I can get out there and do it. Jim and I identified the runway lights that are in op. We had about 6 of them. We had at least 6 of them. Some of them are just bulbs, some of them are more than bulbs. We'll start replacing those as weather permits. Jim and I plowed the airport this morning. I signed up a new tie-down customer yesterday. He has a Robinson R44. He'll be using the far corner of the tie-down ramp over there. He wants to remain clear of any airplanes, so it's not to cause any vibration issues. So I told him one of the corners, probably the far one over there. I'm working on getting an upgraded guard software package and a new computer, because that guard software that counts the traffic is not working properly. It's very old, so I'm working on getting a new one of that. I've asked Dominic to move his stuff back out of there, back into his hangar, and he's working on that. The reason I want to do that is so that we can get transient pilots in there. They can come in, have a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, check weather. I'm going to be putting some weather software out there also, and hopefully some Wi-Fi. And we can't do it if his stuff is there, so I asked him nicely to move it moving back out. He is slowly moving it. And we're gonna make it nice for people to come in. Jim and I were talking that we probably gonna have to leave this inside gate door open during the day so that pilots can come in and use the bathroom. Because right now it's locked and nobody can go to the bathroom or do anything. So we leave it open during the day. We might have to have a camera, but I don't know, we'll have to see. I mean, there's really not much they can steal, and it's inside the gate, and would be only pilots coming in here, so we'd have to decide if we want to have a camera there, if we want to leave this open all day, to let people come in and use it, have a cup of coffee, sit around, but it's going to be a public space for pilots back there. And Dominic's okay with that, mostly okay with that. I received a notice for a high utility pole in Fitchburg. I don't know if you guys know about that. I have a lat long, but I don't have an address. But I looked, this comes from the FAA, and I looked on the site and, pass that around, it's just to the west of Fitchburg, and it's right alongside Route 2. So in case you're ever flying out there, it's, oh, and this is the new guy, if you want to pass that around. Mitch Anderson, he's got a red helicopter. He'll be coming in soon. He lives in Westminster. It's 158 feet AGL and 787 AMSL.
Only
So,
150.
yeah, so if you're out there, you might see it. And the FAA did a study on it and said it was fine. It's lighted. But they just wanted people to know that it's out there. And it's right next, looks like it's right next to Route 2.
It is.
That's the cell phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not
Also,
supposed to be that low,
yeah,
If you're that low, you got problems.
yeah. Well, it doesn't really apply to us, but I figured I'd
We got
mention
another
it.
one going in by
Anyway.
Salvador said, hopefully that'll fix the cell phone coverage down here.
Hopefully.
Okay?
He looks at timber acreage with his helicopter. The city council passed the runway project city portion a couple of weeks ago, and this morning they passed the 5-year master plan city portion.
Okay.
So as of this morning, we're fully funded. And that's it.
Okay, good. Any other maintenance items that we need to start looking at, other than we'll get this place cleaned out? I guess the next step is to work on getting rid of the tiles in here.
I'm looking for
So she's working
quotes
on that.
to have this updated.
Asbestos removal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
I'm sure
mention
there's
that.
a bunch of that.
Yeah, I think there's probably even lead paint, but I don't know, we'll tackle them one at a time.
Lead paint too.
But we'll see.
It's pretty old. I don't know if it's lead or not, but
When was the last time the walls were painted? A long time?
it's probably in the 50s, 60s.
This color is what people are painting now. This is a good color, so they must know.
It's so old, it's come back around.
Yeah, it's come back around, it has.
Yeah,
So that's funny.
so,
But anyway, I'm gonna get the quotes for the floor first because it's terrible.
well, I think it's just,
And it's probably killing us.
no, as long as it
Flaking
doesn't
off.
break up too much too quickly.
Yeah.
Huh?
Could use a little work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think one of those interlocking floors, I just question, the only reason I'd rather get rid of it than try and just cover it up still, because I don't know what condition some of the floor is, there's some
This
places.
asbestos,
Huh?
this asbestos,
Yeah, they're the 9x9 tiles, and,
how are you gonna get rid of that?
with an asbestos abatement.
which is expensive.
Very, yeah.
Well, it is and it isn't, I mean, it's come down a lot in price because it's so common still, but we have to play by the rules.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's a lot of houses in Gardner with asbestos under the vinyl siding, still.
Um,
Let me bounce back up, the minutes to the meetings. I need if we're gonna approve any changes or anybody wanna.
Which meeting, you wanna figure out?
The first one is, my February 1st. Wanna figure out if those are, you guys recall anything or?
You want it?
No.
I mean, I wasn't even here, so I was in Florida.
Okay.
It's the second one. I have. I was gonna say, these were just copies of what I did. Snowing again,
Great,
it will be.
Oh, joy.
maybe Saturday will be the last one.
No.
We're still
My
thinking
prediction is we haven't had a winter, so winter's gonna be March, April, and
March,
May.
April.
June's gonna be spring, and July and August will be summer. Maybe into September and October, hopefully.
And then the runway closes.
No, the railroad will close in August
Yeah.
for 3 months,
No.
so.
And we're looking into seeing if, even though the runway's closed, if helicopters can come in and land, or if that's a no-no in the eyes of the FAA.
Yeah,
So
gotta figure that one out
we'll
because,
look into that, because he just signed up.
yeah.
But we
just
told
signed-
him that we're closing in August, but
And then,
Well, if the runway's closed, but the airport's not closed, you
he
should be
might
able
be
to
able
land.
to stay.
should be able to, I think, but I
Yeah.
don't know what the ruling is on that.
All
Cause we
you
have to
need
put a
is-
note out that it's closed.
I think all
We
he needs is
discussed it.
permission from us to
The
land
system.
here.
Yeah, cause we have the, National Grid.
Yep.
Coming and going all the time, Alec. So,
Oh, right, and they can't do that if they aren't able to come in, yeah,
So-
so that's good.
I think we can leverage it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's got a spot big enough to land. and-
Oh, yeah, he lands right up here and then over there on
Yeah,
Boxes out there, if you.
sure.
either side, if he has to, but
Yeah.
they, okay. So, the February 1st meeting, we need a motion.
I'll motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Let me see what you did
Oh.
with that.
I saw.
And the second meeting on the 8th.
5 Old Farm. I'll motion to accept those two.
Okay. Second?
Sure.
Gail's not coming.
Probably not, he gets tied up. That's why I'm taking ferocious notes, because he's usually my backup. As well as the recording. I haven't heard anything different other than the fact that the project was to be August start sometime.
Okay.
And the only reason it was delayed was because the money order didn't get passed through the council. There's a 6-month lead time to have the vault made for the electrical, which is gonna be on the other side of the fence out there.
Okay.
And so that puts it into August. And they wanna have the vault when they start, cause all the wiring's gonna be in conduit and all on both sides, and taxiway and everything, and new signs and new lighting and everything. So, should be really nice when they're done, however, it's gonna be pushing winter, or could be. So the only thing that might get left is some of the striping and numbers, but we'll see. I mean, Harvey ran into that when he did Jaffrey, and they didn't finish until sometime in November. And we wanna stay away from that if we can. So, I haven't found out if it's that porous pavement or not, I don't know. Like they did down on the other one, I think that's what they're doing on all of them now, if I'm not mistaken. The water goes through it instead of running off. I don't know how it works when there's 2 inches of ice on it, but we'll find out if it'll let it go. The procedures book, the one that this is the one that Kenny did. It's all single pages and all this, and there's a index in the front. To me, the index belongs in the back, but the one that this is the one that Rob put together, Robert. And it's got a lot of the forms in here and stuff like that, but we found that the order is a little bit out of, before he makes tabs, he wants to, I wanna try and, so I'm gonna keep the same order that's in this one. And try and get the page numbers to line up, and the table of contents should be in the front.
Yep.
And then we're gonna, he wants to do 6 of these, 7 of these. And then we read them and go through each one, make updates and stuff like that, correct spellings, and then we take it to the council and get it approved. And it's beautiful how it's written.
Do we need that many copies?
Huh?
Do we need that many copies?
Well, if every commissioner's gonna have a copy to look at. I don't know, that's what I'm asking, what do you think?
Yeah.
I tried to,
I think you got one master and then maybe another 1 or 2 somewhere in case something is.
Well,
We could pass around. Yeah.
they were,
Yeah.
there were, I think there were 5 or 6 of these that Kenny made back in 2006. And nobody can find them. This is the only one that I know of.
The only thing I have is the thumb drive.
Right, and have you ever looked at it?
Yeah, I looked at it for a
Good.
little bit, boring as hell, but
Yeah, I know. Put you to sleep and nothing flat.
that's one I gave to Rob, so we can make that one.
Okay, because I have, you got a copy of it,
I have the thumb drive.
the thumb drive, and I'm fine with that. It's
It's
just that we
really-
gotta make changes, we're gonna,
It's really old. He's talking about pager numbers and,
right, we gotta just upgrade all the stuff that's in it. And then go through and get it codified into law. And then we can, and the procedures, some of the procedures are, you know, very, very much outdated. And go from there. So I thought I was gonna have enough time to do it. He gave it to me 2 weeks ago. And I've been just flat out since then. But I'm gonna keep working on that. I'm just gonna kind of coordinate things. And maybe we'll get a couple of copies of this going. And then we can, because you can write on the paper and take it with you and all that sort of stuff, if that's agreeable. Hey, unless you can come up with a better idea, I mean, we can probably make some copies. Because one of the ways that I usually, I'll copy them into the computer, but I copy them in to read them. It works much better because then I can make the changes as I need them and have I'm going to try and write them on the copy, so I'll say go to page such and such, and we'll change that copy and we'll start putting new ones in as we go through them. And it's going to take a while, but I think it'll be a very good thing. There is definitely a ton of information in there. The part that I like is it's got a lot of the references to federal regulations and law and state, and tells you where to look. And that's the thing that we need to do. Because I don't know how else to get what we want.
I would recommend, since it is so old, to actually go make sure that those rules are still what.
Oh yeah, yeah, you have to, but most of the laws don't, they just add on. And you have to dig through them to find out which ones they replace or take through them, but it's chapter 9051 is where a lot of the sections that we are related to airports. I think this is where it is. And I've read a few of them, and some of them are pretty vague, but some of them are a lot more specific. So we'll keep working on that. I'll check with Rob and see how because I think he just copied it right off the disk. And a two-sided page, so you have to be careful that we keep both sides. On the Knox box, I got the thing finally mounted a month ago, 6 weeks ago. I want to put a pilot lounge key, Dominic's door key, the electric box room, and it'll eventually be the box out there. I don't think they need anything else in the box. I'll give them a, oh, I know, and the other one is a gate key for all the drive-through gates other than the electric gate. I had this all printed up, and I went to save it. I should have printed it before I saved it, because now I can't. It's gone. I don't know what happened to it. Windows 365 is mistreated. Then I'll put the code for the gate with a note that says you can shut it off at the box on the side to keep the gate open. And it'll be, the only people who have keys to that box is the fire department. But I got dual set, it's a dual box, so Gardner's got one key, and I'll identify that's the top one, and the bottom one is Templeton. And either one will open the box. They'll also have the alarm code key here, so they can get in, shut their, silence the alarm, look around, and go from there. If the normal procedure right now is if the alarm goes off, Alarm Central calls Templeton. And then they call me. They will come down and do whatever they have to. If there's a crash or anything else, somebody dials 911, they get Gardner, and Gardner Fire responds to police, and they can get in and do the same thing. So I think we're pretty well covered on all of that. And any suggestions on anything else I should put in there? I want to have a sheet in there that they can, I'll laminate it so that it's protected a little bit. It has to be inside it's inside the entryway there, and the only reason I put it in there is because the box is not completely watertight, and they said that if it freezes or gets ice on it, you have trouble getting it open. So the locks are just not treated as such. There he is. Hello. He didn't get lost. It only took.
Isabel?
Hi.
Hi.
Nice
to meet you.
I'm your project manager for the runway project. Pass those around.
Okay. You made it just in time.
We just finished talking,
We just-
so, yeah, here.
Any
I
of
thought it was 5:30, but
5 o'clock.
I apologize.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we accept.
I gotta check with you because I think I mixed up a couple of phone numbers.
Yeah, Matt got the text today.
Yeah, I had your name on that phone number.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe you can help me straighten it out.
Okay.
Okay, I think, having said that,
You want me to get right to it?
you're on, you're on.
All right, so Gail is administering two projects on behalf of the commission, the first being the runway 1836 reconstruction. We have yet to receive the Mass DOT PV form for the state share of project funding. While grant funding is in place, staff shortages at Mass DOT have delayed issuance of this form. The first federal reimbursement request was submitted on Tuesday, February 21st. That reimbursement request seeks to collect $327,070.11, or 90% of incurred costs to date, from the FAA, and $9,085.28, or 2.5% of the costs incurred to date from the City of Gardner. The Mass DOT portion of the funding will be omitted until the necessary forms have been received. So, as far as costs incurred to date, the payment for Gale's engineering fees totals to $334,679.74. The remaining $1,475.65 is for the reimbursement of city expenses related to the project. That's the local advertising, the notice of intent filed with the Templeton Conservation Commission for both the runway and for the tree clearing down on the runway in there. I've attached an invoice summary to each of the agendas. That's the third page, which summarizes costs incurred to date. And as far as construction goes, the contractor has indicated that construction may begin in early August of this year. And that is due to the lead time associated with the electrical vault, which is now on. So actions requested of the commission this month, please issue payment in the amount of $334,679.74 to Gale Associates once funds have been received. Any questions so far?
The money for the 5-year plan was approved this morning, I think, because they had
For the-
snow.
The 5-year plan?
I think it's for
The
five.
CIP?
CIP.
yeah.
I think it was one of those,
All right.
I think there was one that was delayed because of the snow. Because we had, snow Tuesday and that.
Okay.
So I think that got approved today. I was talking, I mentioned it to one of the counselors and he says, yeah, all the monies have been approved.
All right,
So,
excellent.
I don't know,
I thought the next city council meeting was on March 6th.
Well, I have 2 a month, and I thought they were the first and third Tuesdays. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also talked to one of them, and it was this morning, and they did approve it.
So, she
It was on the agenda, and they did approve it. So,
Okay.
Okay, that's
So-
good news.
So we're getting there.
That is a good segue into the second project, which is the master plan update.
That may be, I don't know, was it the master plan or was it?
it was the master plan, the one this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
So, the status update on that project, and again, this is outside of my wheelhouse, I'm an engineer, and this is more Matt and Jackie's
Right.
domain. But based on what they told me, the project is currently on hold until the March 6th city council meeting.
Okay.
Where they're slated to vote to appropriate that funding. If that happened today,
Where,
great.
now I wonder, was it a committee meeting that approved it today?
City council meeting this morning, 8 AM.
That sounds like it was more of a.
It was on the agenda,
Yeah, but a committee meeting,
and they approved it.
but it sounds more like a committee meeting
The
than,
committee has to approve and then it goes to the full
then it
council.
goes to the full council, so that would be, that would make
Maybe
more
that's the
sense.
6th,
It was a committee meeting
Okay.
for the prerequisite for that.
which is next
Council
Monday.
meetings are at night,
Next Monday,
council meetings are at night, so that would be the
Okay.
public welfare for, I don't know, they got so many committees, I don't know which ones are governed by which one. I did follow up with some of the councils that I need coffee once in a while.
All right, well, now that the local share is on the road to approval, we'll assist the airport in applying for a grant to fund the master plan. It's important to note that because it's a planning project, the grant needs to be in place before work can begin.
Yes.
So it looks like as soon as that grant is issued, we can begin work on that project. So actions requested this month, please notify Gail of City Council's final decision on the local share, and we can go from there.
Okay.
Why is DOD share and local share the same amount?
In different percentages.
Looks like this was copied down. It should be 90%, 5%, and 5%.
5 and 5.
Yeah,
5 and
because
5,
on
that's
the
why.
runway, it went to 7.5 from the state.
Yes, so the state chipped in an extra 2.5% because of the
On the runway.
magnitude of the costs, which they've done in the past.
Yep.
But to the extent practical, they do expect airports to contribute their local share.
Okay.
I will correct the percentages on the next agenda.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what the next projects might be too. I know some of the, we gotta rattle around and figure out what we wanna try for.
What
Other than the
what
SRE.
follows the master plan on your CIP? I would guess an environmental assessment to support those projects? Depending on
What they are.
what the projects
Yeah,
get, what projects get flushed out of the master plan.
yeah.
Typically, we see a master plan followed by an environmental assessment to clear those projects environmentally, and then we can go to work on whatever development projects are identified. But you do have your CIP meeting, which takes place annually, and that's the airport's opportunity to shuffle around projects.
Right. And that's what we did. We tried to push the SRE building up a little bit if we could, but I don't know if that's gonna work or not.
It's challenging to get funds for
vertical construction.
but, we'll keep working at it, see what we can come up with.
Sounds good.
Any other business?
None that I can think of.
Okay, then we will adjourn and we can move on from there.
I apologize for the tardiness.
Fine,
It's fine.
You're not Patty, you made it.
yeah.
Just rearrange you out a
Just
little
under the
bit.
wire.
What do we got for time? I'm not accurate.
5:36.
Yep, 5:30, yeah, 5:36.
Ah, we went over last month. Ah,
5:36 right now.
very good. Ship that off and I'll go from there.